Ikaw ba ay nahihirapan sa pag-solve sa pagbabudget ng ating mga daily needs? Halika at ating pag-usapan dito sa ating matsayang talakayan. Kaya, stay tuned! Hello grade 8 learners! For today's video, we will discuss problems involving system of linear inequalities in two variables. With the learning competency, solves problems involving systems of linear inequalities in two variables. Let us describe system of linear inequalities in two variables. So, it consists of at least two linear inequalities in the same variables, meaning that there are two or more linear inequalities to be solved simultaneously. Ibig sabihin, meron tayong dalawa o higit pang linear inequalities na isosolve ng magkasabay. And the solution of a linear inequality is the ordered pair that is a solution to all inequalities in the system, meaning that the set of ordered pair that satisfy both inequalities. And the graph of linear inequality is the graph of all solutions of the system. So meaning in the graph, the solution can be found on the double shaded region. So now, let's find out the steps in solving problems involving systems of linear inequalities in two variables. So we have, on the first step, find the unknown and name them. Second, identify the important parts of the problem. Third, write the system of inequality. Fourth, you have to solve the inequality. And fifth, you have to show the graph. Let's have our first example. The Anselmos wants to grill chicken and tilapia for dinner. Olet finds that in Herona Public Market, chicken sells at 150 pesos per kilogram and tilapia sells 100 pesos per kilogram. How many kilograms of each can he buy if the total cost is not to exceed 450 pesos? So let's find out the unknown and name them. What are the unknown in the problem? So we have here the number of kilograms that Anselmo can buy if he has a total cost not to exceed 450 pesos. So, let us represent them with a variable. Let x will be the number of kilograms of chicken. Let y be the number of kilograms of tilapia. And for step number 2, we have to identify the important parts of the problem. So we have there the cost of chicken, the number of kilograms of chicken, the cost of tilapia, the number of kilograms of tilapia, and the money that Anselmo can have. Let us now write the system of inequality. So we have 150x plus 100y is less than or equal to 450. 150 is the cost of chicken, x is the number of kilograms of chicken, then plus 100 is the cost of tilapia, and y is the number of kilograms of tilapia. The word not to exceed represents the symbol less than or equal to. Then we have 450. Since we cannot buy a negative number of kilograms of chicken and tilapia, so we can represent that the number of kilograms of chicken is greater than or equal to 0. And the number of kilograms of tilapia is greater than or equal to 0. So these are now our systems of inequality. And to solve the inequality, we have to solve it by showing the graph. Let's graph. 150x plus 100y is less than or equal to 450. So translate or transform first the inequality into equation. Then write into slope-intercept form. Okay, so we have in the slope-intercept form, y is equal to negative 3 over 2x plus 9 over 2. Then, identify the slope and the y-intercept. Then locate it on the Cartesian plane. So, locate 9 over 2. 9 over 2 is equivalent to 4.5. So, ibig sabihin, the point will be located between 4 and 5. Then apply rise over run. So, we will move 3 units downward because it is negative. And we will move another 2 units to the right. And that is the second point. Then since our symbol is less than or equal to, we will use a solid line. Okay? Then find the shaded region. So which do you think is the shaded region? Is it on the upper half plane or on the lower half plane? Okay, so if we have at the point of origin, if x is 0 and y is 0, so 150x plus 100y, when we multiply it by 0, then the product is 0. So 0 is less than 450, and that is correct. So, meaning that we are going to shade the portion where 0, 0 belong. And that is our region. Then, another is to graph x is greater than or equal to 0. So, when we transform into equation, we have there x is equal to 0. So, we have x is equal to 0. So, we have there a vertical line. And the shaded region, since it is greater than or equal to, so doon tayo sa right part mag-shade. Then, y is greater than or equal to 0. So, transform into equation. So, y is equal to 0. If y is equal to 0, then we will have a horizontal line. And since it is greater than, ang portion na shade natin is upward. Okay? Then find the solution set. So the solution set are the region shaded by the first inequality, the second inequality, and the third inequality. So we have that portion. So all points located on that portion are part of the solution. So let us test the possible combinations of the number of kilograms of tilapia and chicken. So let's say that we have x is 1 and y is 2. Meaning that the number of chicken is 1 kilogram, and there are 2 kilograms of tilapia. So solving or checking on the inequalities, so we have there 150 times 1 is 150 plus 100 times 2 is 100. Combining it, so we have 350, which is less than or equal to 450. So the statement is true. So we can now say that Anselmo can buy 1 kilogram of chicken and 2 kilograms of tilapia that cost 350 pesos. Another is we have 1, 3. So meaning we have 150 times 1 plus 100 times 3 is less than or equal to 450 pesos. So when we simplify, that would be 450 is less than or equal to 450. What does it mean? So meaning that Anselmo can buy 1 kilogram of chicken and 3 kilograms of tilapia that cost 450 pesos. So marami pa tayong iba pang mga possible combination as long as nandoon siya sa shaded portion from the first inequality, second, and the third inequality. Example number 2. Each gift bag has to contain at least 15 candies and or chocolates whose total worth must not exceed 30 pesos. Each candy costs 1 peso, while each chocolate costs 3 pesos. Okay, so what are the unknown in the problem? So, we are going to find how many candies and chocolates are in the bag or gift bag. So, let us represent it by a variable. So, we will let x be the number of candies in the bag. And we will let y be the number of chocolates in the bag. And for step number 2, what are the important parts of the problem? So we have there the number of candies, the number of chocolates, and at least 15. And we have the cost of candies, the number of candies, cost of chocolates, and the number of chocolates which is not to exceed 30 pesos. Now, let us write all the inequalities. So, on the first inequality, the number of candies plus the number of chocolates is greater than or equal to 15. And for the second inequality, we have the cost of candy, that is 1 peso multiplied by x. So, we have there is still x plus the cost of chocolate 3 pesos multiplied by y, which is the number of candy. So less than or equal to 30. Now, for step number 4, we have to solve the system. And to solve the system, so let's graph the first inequality. X plus y is greater than or equal to 15. Transform into equation. Then write it as slope-intercept form. Then, identify the slope, which is -1, and the y-intercept, which is 15. So, 15 will be 0, 15. Then, locate 0, 15 on the Cartesian plane. Since we are expecting all positive as our answers, ang makikita lang natin na part ng Cartesian plane ay yung quadrant 1. So, locate 0, 15 and find the second point by counting -1, 1. So, we move 1 downward and 1 to the right. Since that is greater than or equal to, so we will use solid line. Then, identify the shaded region. If we will use 0, 0, so the equation or the inequality will become 0 plus 0 is greater than or equal to 15, which is incorrect. So, ibig sabihin, ang i-shade natin ay yung nasa kabilang part. Okay? Then, next is on the second inequality. So, x plus 3y is less than or equal to 30. Transform into equation. Then, write into a slope-intercept form. Okay, so we have there in slope-intercept form, y is equal to -1/3 x plus 10. Okay, So, ang slope natin ay negative 1/3 and ang y-intercept natin ay 10. So, we will locate 0, 10 on the Cartesian plane. And that is 0, 10. Then, to find the second point, apply rise over run, negative 1. So, 1 unit downward and 3 units to the right. And that's it. And connect the points. Since we have less than or equal to, so we are going to use a solid line. Okay, so when we are going to check the point or test the point, we will use 0, 0. So we have there 0 plus 3 times 0 is less than or equal to 30. So 0 is less than or equal to 30, which is true. That's why we are going to shade on the part where 0, 0 belongs. Okay? At makikita na ninyo kung saan ang double shaded part. Lahat ng mga points na located on the double shaded part are solution. The possible combination of candies and chocolates in the bag. So let's say we have there 11, 5. Meaning that there are 11 candies and 5 chocolates. So when we check, 11 plus 5 is greater than or equal to 15. Wherein that is 16 is greater than or equal to 15, which is a true statement. Then on the second inequality, 11 plus 3 times 5 is less than or equal to 30. So we have there 26 is less than or equal to 30, which is also true. Meaning that 11, 5 is really a solution set. So we can now say that there are 11 candies and 5 chocolates in the bag that cost 26 pesos. And 26 pesos is less than 30. Another possible combinations. So let's say we have 8, 7. Meaning that there are 8 candies and 7 chocolates. So let's check on the inequality. So meaning, on the first inequality, 8 plus 7 is greater than or equal to 15. Which is 15 is greater than or equal to 15, and that is a true statement. Then on the second inequality, 8 plus 3 times 7 is less than or equal to 30. So when we simplify that, it will be 29 is less than or equal to 30, which is also true. So what does it mean? Meaning that there are 8 candies and 7 chocolates in the bag that cost 29 pesos. Now we have another example. Jason needs to buy fruits. A mango costs 20 peso each, while a guava costs 15 peso each. He can spend no more than 180 pesos. The total number of fruits is not to exceed 8. So for step number 1, we will let x be the number of mango and we will let y be the number of guava. Then, we are going to have the cost of mango, the number of mango, the cost of guava, and the number of guava, which is no more than 180 pesos. Then we have the number of mango and the number of guava is not to exceed 8. So, the inequality, we have 20x plus 15y is less than or equal to 180. That is 20 peso as the cost of the mango and x is the number of mango. Then 15 is the cost of guava and y is the number of kilograms of guava. And Jason can spend no more than 180 pesos. Then we have the number of fruits will not be to exceed 8. Then let us solve now the system of inequality. So we can show it by a graph. Let us graph the first inequality. So we have there 20x plus 15y is less than or equal to 180. So we will transform as an equation. Then write into a slope-intercept form. So we have there y is equal to negative 4/3 x plus 12. Then the slope will be negative 4/3 and the y-intercept is 12. So we have 0, 12. Then on the second inequality, we have x plus y is less than or equal to 8. Transformed into equation, then write into slope-intercept form. And the slope is negative 1 and y is 8. So let us now show the graph. On the first inequality, we will locate 0, 12. Then count negative 4 over 3. So we have 4 downward and 3 units to the right. Then since it is less than or equal to, we will use a solid line. If we are going to use 0, 0 as our test point, so the inequality will be 0 is less than or equal to 180, so which is true. That's why we are going to shade where 0, 0 belong. Then we are going to graph the second inequality. So locate 0, 8, then count negative 1, so 1 unit downward and 1 unit to the right. Then, since it is less than or equal to, so we are going to use a solid line. Okay, so if we have 0, 0 as our x and y, so 0 is less than or equal to 8, which is true. So that's why we will shade this part. As you can see, the double shaded part is on this side. On this side. As identify the possible combinations of guavas and mangoes. Let us look for a point wherein the point is located on the double shaded portion. So let's say we have 2, 3. So when we test, we have 2 times 20 plus 15 times 3 is less than or equal to 180, which is equal to 85 is less than or equal to 180, and that is true. Then we have x plus y is less than or equal to 180, and that will give you 6 is less than 1 or equal to 180, which is also true. So we can now say that there are 2 mangoes and 2 guavas bought by Jason at 85 pesos. Out another combination. Okay, so let's say that is 1, 7. So checking 1, 7 on the inequality will give you 125 is less than or equal to 180. So that is true. And for the second inequality, we have x plus y is less than or equal to 8. So x is 1 and y is 7. And that is 8 is less than or equal to 8, which is also true. So meaning that there are 1 mango and 7 guavas that bought by Jason at 125 pesos. And now it's your turn. Get your paper or notebook and do this activity. So we have tickets to the hit musical Peter Pan cost 1,000 pesos for reserved seats and 500 pesos for general admission. If daily receipts must average at least 10,000 to meet the expenses, graph an inequality that shows the possible ways to the musical can sell reserved tickets X and general admission tickets Y. And that's for today, guys. Mag-practice at magtiyaga upang lalong maging galing. Again, this is Teacher Dali na nagsasabing, practice makes perfect. Thanks for watching!